What's going on, everybody? On today's video, we're going to be talking about Nikola Vucevic. Could he be possibly staying with the Bulls and re-signing with the Chicago Bulls during this upcoming offseason? Joe Cowley, he's a reporter for the Chicago Sun-Times, and he reported that the Bulls probably will intend to re-sign Nikola Vucevic. I got a ton of thoughts on this and more, but before we get into it, guys, help us reach 1,000 subscribers here. It's pretty simple. Chat Sports is a company. The more subscribers we get, the more Bulls videos we will have. So if you're a diehard Bulls fan, you love Bulls content, we cover news, rumors, whatever it may be, and possibly some watch parties for next NBA season. Subscribe, join us, and kind of join us on our journey. We're a new channel. You can get in on it early. Completely free way. Helps me out. Makes me look also good for my bosses as well. So let's talk about, should the Bulls keep Nikola Vucevic? This is a tough one, man. I mean, Nikola Vucevic, we traded for him at, I believe, 2 trade deadlines ago, and I thought it was going to be a big-time hit, and it really hasn't been so far. This past season, I mean, listen, you look at his stats, you're like, as a modern-day stretch 5 type of player, if you're just looking at the stat sheet, I mean, you're like, Nikola Vucevic, he's a hell of a player. I mean, almost averaging 18 points a game, 11 rebounds per game. 3.2 assists for a center is not bad as well. 52% from the field. That's very solid. And then he can also stretch the floor a little bit at 35%. I think he sits around a 36% three-point shooter during his NBA career. Offensively, Vooch, he is one of the more talented centers in the NBA, especially when he can go back to the basket. He can drop that hip on you and just kind of have that jump hook that he has been so successful with. And like I said, he's got that pick and pop ability, which is so huge in the modern NBA game. But we got to talk about the problem with Nikola Vucevic, because if you look at his kind of production offensively, you would think this is one of the better centers in the NBA. But for me, that's not the case. He had a minus 18 plus minus for the Chicago Bulls this past season. And obviously, I know the Bulls didn't have a good season overall. But whenever I'm watching Nikola Vucevic, especially with what he struggles in the most, it's that pick and roll defense. And especially for these centers and power forwards and small forwards in the NBA nowadays, you have to be able to guard the pick and roll and move your feet a little better laterally, because if we were watching the NBA playoffs, I mean, just count the amount of times that a team runs a high pick and roll trying to get that big out onto the guard and get that mismatch. And if the Bulls were to obviously make another playoff run, hopefully next season, that could be a huge negative for them defensively, is Nikola Vucevic pick and roll coverage. He hasn't been good really in his entire NBA career, and he's not really a good rim protector as well. I think he really has some defensive struggles, and I just don't think he really contributes to winning in a positive way, really. Like, I think Nikola Vucevic is probably one of the more overrated players in the NBA. But I'll toss it you guys' way. I got more thoughts here in a second. Would you re-sign Nikola Vucevic? BAK, be the GM. Give me an S for sign or give me a P for pass down in the comment section. I'm actually really curious to see what you guys have to say. Honestly, Bulls, don't even think about re-signing him. You shoot him to the moon. You let him walk in free agency. I just think it's time to move on. I mean, I really do, especially at that center position. I think the Bulls, they need to get younger. They need to get more athletic. They need to get more of these dogs in this locker room. Because right now, I mean, the Bulls roster, your 3 best players. Obviously, LaVine is still a freak athlete. But, man, I mean, DeMar DeRozan, Nikola Vucevic, they're just old guys that don't really play too much defense anymore. And if we're looking at the NBA playoffs right now, you got a young Knicks team, man. You got a young Heat team that, yes, they're led by leaders, but their leaders play defense. Their leaders hustle. Their leaders have the intangibles. Their leaders have that intensity that you want. And that's really where I feel like the Bulls struggle. A guy like LaVine, DeRozan, and Vooch, they don't really strike me as an alpha, a true number 1 player on a championship team. I just think it's time to move on from Nikola Vucevic. Honestly, I think it's time to move on from DeMar DeRozan and even Zach LaVine as well. Clean house, get younger, get more athletic, because that's what's winning in the modern-day NBA. These young, athletic wings, the 3-and-D guys. I mean, the Jaylen Browns, the Jason Tatums, the Michael Porter Jr.'s. That is the modern-day archetype that you want at that wing, kind of power forward, even a center position. You want that stretch 5. You want that athletic ability. If you guys made it this far in the video, hit that like button. Easy way to help us out here, trying to grow this to more and more Bulls fans. New channel here at Chat Sports. Easy way to help us out. As always, if you love the Bulls, just give me a like on today's video.